Hi, my name is Miley Herman, and we'd like to thank you, the Board of Directors at Sweet Tree Cooperative, for listening to our presentation on Manic Energy. Today is the day I've been training for, my first full marathon. I'm about to run 26.2 miles, and I feel kind of crazy about it. But that crazy carries me straight to the race. And when the gun goes off, it's pure adrenaline. That first mile was as easy as breathing. Mile 2, done in the blink of an eye. I think, yeah, I could do this all day. But then mile 5 hits, and my legs start to hurt. At mile 8, I can feel my lungs. And by mile 9, I think, why am I even doing this? I can't run 26.2 miles, that's ridiculous. I'm out of energy, there's no way I can continue. I look around at my fellow runners and I see them struggling with the same thing. Some of them are trying to choke down some dry, chalky, horrible tasting goo, and I think, no, I don't want that. I want something that will make me stronger, make me faster, make me energized. And that's when I see it. This bright red t-shirt, and the person wearing it is handing out this little packet. It's something new, something different, something I can't wait to try. And I do. I rip off that top and slurp down this maple syrup goodness. And when it hits my tongue, I can feel my energy rejuvenating, pushing me to keep going one step at a time to achieve my goals. Sweet Tree Cooperative has been helping people achieve their goals since 1987. And for 29 years, they have prided themselves on being able to help their farmers sell and distribute their product throughout the area. Located in the deciduous forests of Minnesota, maple trees abound, but there has always been a limited supply that they were able to harvest, until recently. With new innovative technology that Sweet Tree has been championing from the start, they are now able to harvest 8 times more maple syrup per acre. This has led to a production surplus. And now the question is, what are we going to do with all that maple syrup? That's where Manic Energy, or me, comes in. Current energy gels on the market are compact forms of carbohydrates, but they lack the exquisite taste and smooth texture that Manic Energy will provide. To explain further, Nick will talk to you about the trends.
Thank you, Miley. And as Miley said, there's an obvious need for a new, innovative running gel in today's market. And right now, trends suggest that now is the perfect time to get into that market. Right away, we see that marathon running is up 40% since 2010, and the gel packet market has grown 45% from years 2012 to 2014. 45% of Americans regularly purchase and consume organics, and 69% of adults shop online. We found that there are 8 million athletes that consume these running gels. These might be trail runners or triathletes or even cyclists. We also found that there are 3.3 million full and half marathon runners in today's society. We call these people the marathon maniacs. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever met a marathoner before, but these people are crazy. They're constantly telling you what time in the morning they woke up to run how many miles. They're crazy, but they're passionate, they're dedicated, and they're not confined to regular demographics such as age or income or education. They're crazy about their sport. Now, they're constantly looking towards one another in their holistic community to find out what the new technology is on the market, whether that be a new pair of shoes or a new training regimen, or in our case, a new energy gel. These marathon maniacs are simply just manic. Now, like I said, there's 3.3 million marathon maniacs on the market today. And we talked to many vendors, as well as conducted a 2015 survey that found that 58% of these use running gels, which equates to over 33 million gels sold every single year. Now, we also found that of the 58%, nearly half of them dislike the current taste and texture of today's product, leading there to be an obvious need for a new, innovative product. But who are our competitors? Well, by year 3, we look to obtain 5% market share from leading competitors of Goo, Power Gel, and Cliff Shot. And how do we stack up against those competitors? We're going to be priced competitively, both per pack as well as online, in bulk. And we're specifically designed to give the same performance boost from the calorie to carbohydrate ratio. Looking at flavors, you might notice we have one, which may at first seem like a weakness. However, remember that I did mention that nearly half the market dislikes the current taste and product of current gels, leading us to believe that Goo has failed its consumers 18 times, Power Gel 10, and Cliff Energy Shot 8. We look to be the one that consumers can go for price, performance, as well as our exquisite taste. Now, like I said, our taste is our biggest strength, coming from our all-natural, 100% organic maple syrup, harvested right from Minnesota. This gives runners the taste that they've been desiring. Now, our weakness, coming from an agriculture market, is our seasonal harvest period. Ours generally from February to April. With that, we have the opportunity to redefine the energy gel in today's market while facing the threat of pests, but pests generally target larger, more mature trees. And with our new production style, we use saplings to mitigate this. Now I'll introduce you guys to Brad, who will take you through the business proposition.
Sweet Tree's strategy is to add value to current syrup production by supplying long-distance athletes with the same stamina boost they receive from existing gels, but with a healthy alternative that has actual taste and only 2 all-natural ingredients. Sweet Tree is proud to present Manic Energy, or Me, a combination of maple syrup and a USDA-approved organic thickening extract to form a high-glycemic fluid energy gel to combat intense energy fatigue in long-distance runners. Now, Manic Energy has that sweet maple syrup flavor, but can best be described as having the consistency of pudding and jelly, mixed together and placed in a small, easy open pouch. Our goal is to sprint into the energy gel market and satisfy the demand for a product that actually has taste. With this goal in mind, our objectives for year 3 are capture a 5% market share, maintain a 50% customer retention, gross over $2.3 million in sales, and earn a 101% return on investment. To meet these objectives, we assume that our product will meet all regulations set aside by the USDA and FDA for organics and performance testing. We already have a patent on the product's composition. Trends in the energy gel market will continue to stay on their existing path. And as you heard before, 58% of runners use energy gels. We assume that this number can be extrapolated to the entire Marathon Maniac community. And with that, I'll let Emily take you through our action plan.
Thank you, Brad. The key and most crucial facet of our action plan is to actually place Manic Energy in the hands of our Marathon Maniacs. We truly believe that if these consumers have the opportunity to taste and experience Manic Energy, they will undoubtedly demand that this product be placed on store shelves. Now, Manic Energy will be positioned as an all-natural, 100% organic, and pure maple-based product that will provide runners with the 27 grams of carbohydrates and 110 readily metabolized calories, and packaged in those bright reds and golds that will remind runners of those fall runs they love so much. At a suggested retail price of $1.47, runners have the opportunity to go in stores and select a single pack of Manic Energy, or go online and make bulk purchases of 24 packs for $31.75. Now, the distribution network for Manic Energy has been strategically selected based on the population-dense areas surrounding the largest 29 marathons and half marathons in the country. For example, small local stores like Fans Edge or KM Sports, to the regional chains of performance running outfitters, all the way up to those national brand names of, say, Champs or a Dick's Sporting Goods. The placement strategy for Manic Energy breaks the country down into 3 separate regions. Year 1, we will be focusing on our home turf in the Midwest, going from Duluth, Minnesota, all the way down to Houston, Texas, and bringing in 103 stores. Year 2 sees us moving over to the East Coast, going from the Boston Marathon all the way down to Miami, Florida, and bringing in 153 stores, and our total up to 256 locations. Year 3, we'll be moving over to the West Coast to be directly competitive in the home states of Goo, Power Gel, and Cliff Shot, going from Portland, Oregon, down to San Diego, California, and bringing in 427 stores, 171 stores and our total to the 427 retail outlets.
To get into those 427 retail outlets, Sweet Tree Cooperative will use business-to-business relations by having boots on the ground. There will be a sales representative in each region that will go and create a relationship between the cooperative and the retailer. They will also be going and giving out point-of-purchase material, which will detail exactly why Manic Energy is the best energy gel for their customers. We will also be going to vendor trade shows such as the running event, where we will be able to reach even more retailers and create an avenue for retailers to come to us when their customers demand that Manic Energy be put on their shelves.
To create that demand, we will be attending trade shows frequented by our marathon maniacs and creating the connection between Sweet Tree Cooperative and them. This will give us the opportunity to actually place Manic Energy in the palm of their hand and provide them with the chance to give instantaneous feedback right to me. Sweet Tree Cooperative will be issuing press releases to magazines like Runner's World so that they have a chance to actually write about Manic Energy and the benefits of using maple syrup as a natural carbohydrate. These magazines are going to want to write about Manic Energy because they're going to want to write about this new product that is going to sweep through the running community. We will also be purchasing the mailing lists from the largest 29 marathons and half marathons in the United States and delivering free samples to previous year's registered participants. And these racers are going to have almost a full year to incorporate Manic Energy into their training and racing routines and give them a chance to go onto our webpage and read about Sweet Tree Cooperative and our growers, as well as hashtags to bring them on board our social media campaign, branched out through Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now these hashtags might be make me stronger, make me faster, make me a marathoner, make me a champion. And these will be to boost the communication between our cooperative and our consumers and create that relationship. We will also be using our social media campaign and organic social media posts to boost the search engine optimization of our website and drive traffic to that website of makemeenergized.com, where runners will get a first look at our public relations strategy.
The first part of that strategy is hashtag Who Do You Run For? Each month, Manic Energy will feature a single marathon runner on their website as a way for them to raise money for their favorite charity. Sweet Tree Cooperative will then match up to $1,000 in raised donations and sponsor said runner at their next event.
In addition to sponsoring those individual runners, we will also be helping to sponsor the races themselves, inviting runners to climb the wall with Manic Energy. Now, runners typically hit the wall around mile marker 9 and 20. This is where they're going to feel like they are out of energy and they can't continue, and they doubt their ability to meet their goals. But this is when they're going to see it. That bright red t-shirt and the outstretched hand handing them a packet of Manic Energy so they can slurp down that maple syrup goodness, feel their energy rejuvenating, and be able to meet their goals. And now to discuss how we're meeting our goals as a cooperative, Christian will take you through our financials.
Thank you, Emily. While runners need Manic Energy to obtain their goals, Manic Energy needs a strong financial strategy to obtain ours. But before we start breaking down the sales and expenditures of this strategy, I want to highlight a few things you heard Nick and Brad talk about. One being that there were 33 million energy gel packs sold in the United States in 2014. That equals over $46 million in sales in the entire market. And as Brad said, we anticipate gaining 5% market share by year 3, which equals that $2.3 million sales goal that he mentioned. In order to sell $2.3 million worth of Manic Energy, we had to conduct a little bit of research to see who uses energy gels and how much they typically consume. Keeping in mind that runners train during events and use energy gels while they're training, we calculated that the average runner will use 18 gels per event. When we applied that to our 5% of the market in year 3, we concluded that we'd need to produce 1.7 million units of Manic Energy in order to fulfill demand. That's a lot of energy gels. You might be asking yourself, how are you going to sell that many energy gels? Well, both two ways, both in stores and online. We estimate that roughly between 70 and 80% of our sales will be conducted online. Now that we've broken down some of our sales, let's take a look at some of our costs. There are 2 ingredients in Manic Energy, 100% pure organic maple syrup and organic maltodextrin. Maple syrup is $40 per gallon, maltodextrin is 40 cents per pound. In order to produce 1.7 million units of Manic Energy, we'll incur a cost of $170,000 in year 3. Don't get excited though, these aren't the only costs. and they pale in comparison to some of the other costs we'll experience. We'll also have to pay for costs of rent and utilities, as well as salaries, manufacturing, and not least of all, marketing and advertising, for a total cost per packet of 79 cents. Since marketing and advertising are such a large part of our budget, let's take a closer look at those expenditures and break them down further. There are a few things I would like to point out for you. The first being for the line items trade shows and website and development. You'll notice that the respective cost for each of these items is higher in year 1 than in year 2 or 3. That's because they incur a startup expense that does not reoccur in year 2 or 3. I would also like to point out media planning and marathon sponsorships there on the bottom. Media planning is the cost to draft and implement radio, print, and media design advertisements. Marathon sponsorships are the costs associated with getting our sales team to events to develop personal connections with runners and put Manic Energy in the palm of their hand. My associates and I believe that this comprehensive marketing strategy is the best way to get Manic Energy into the hands of consumers. Now that we've talked about sales and all of our expenditures, let's talk about the bottom line. Since our high marketing expenses will dominate our budget in year 1, we expect to take a loss. But by year 3, that loss will be completely made up, and we'll see a substantial gain in profit margin at nearly 38%. Whoever said money doesn't grow on trees didn't know what they were talking about. It grows on maple trees. That brings me to a key facet in our financial strategy. We don't just think that this is a great way to sell excess syrup. We believe that this is a great opportunity to redefine the energy gel and make money at the same time. However, Manic Energy will simply not be successful if we can't keep the bills paid throughout year 1 and 2 for obvious reasons, of course. That's why we're here. We're seeking $2 million from you, the board of directors, to cover costs while Manic Energy grows into profitability and success. However, we realize that trends are increasing in the world, running specifically, and other athletes also use gels. But we decided that the best way to get you a return on your investment would be to focus our marketing efforts on these individual runners in marathons that are easily identifiable. These are just the first few stages, however. We're going to sell millions of these packets. Imagine what the finish line will look like. With that, I'll hand the baton back to Brad, who will guide you through monitoring and measuring.
Manic Energy will be continually monitoring and measuring its success. To begin, that 5% market share and $2.3 million in sales. If we fail to meet expectations, we will be increasing our promotional and marketing budget and lowering price to be more competitive. Next, that 50% customer retention. We will be distributing surveys and monitoring them through platform-specific social media and KPIs. And if it seems like we're coming up short, we will be reevaluating our product's formulation. And finally, that 101% return on your investment. If it seems like we're not on track, we will be reevaluating our grower premiums and lowering our input costs.
Now, we've all heard about BP and their oil spill, or Chipotle and the E. coli outbreak, or even situations when a single headline can be detrimental to a brand's image. The point is, these companies did not see these headlines coming. They didn't know they'd be printed in tomorrow's newspapers. Well, we at Sweet Tree Cooperative would like to ease your minds. We've designed a crisis management plan in the event that our brand's image suffers even just a little bit, by designating a spokesperson and ensuring that they have the information to communicate effectively between our growers, our cooperative, and of course with our consumers. We believe that transparency and communication are the keys to profitability and the success of our company. With that, I'll hand it back to Miley, who's going to run you through to the finish line.
So I made it to mile 26, and I just have 0.2 left to go. And I owe so much of that to Manic Energy for giving me that boost when I needed it to get me to the finish line. And we all know, running, it's an individual sport. And in the end, it's all about me.
Thank you for your consideration. We'd be happy to field any questions you have for us at this time.
You made the case that this tastes so much better than everything else, and everyone is going to love how this tastes, but I didn't hear anything about taste testing or any kind of numbers. Tell us more about how you know that people will like the way this tastes better than anything else.
Of course. So through our primary research, we conducted a survey at the Fargo Half Marathon. And we asked runners exactly what they're looking for in a product, what they don't like about the current products. And taste and texture was huge. They did not like it. And some of them don't even use energy gels for the pure fact that they don't like the taste. They'll find something else. And when we asked them if there's a maple-based product on the market, they'd be willing to try it. And when we actually created this product and conducted focus groups, we found that this was a huge benefit. They were very much enjoying this product. They compared it to the competitors and said that this is absolutely the one that they're going to go with if faced with this choice in stores. So we conducted focus groups, the primary research, as well as talked to vendors and asked them how they describe their energy gels. And when these vendors are talking to their runners that they see every day, the usual consensus is, this one isn't as bad as the rest, or this is not terrible, but it's never, this tastes good.
Great. Guys, you're going up against very large companies, so GU's just not going to sit on the sidelines and let you come and take market share. One of the hardest things to do is actually steal market share from established companies. What's going to prevent GU from coming out with a maple flavored and adding one more flavor to their product line and copying the colors and not letting you guys even penetrate by year 3 when you get into California?
Yes, so GU actually came out in 2006 and said publicly that they would like to have energy gels come into the market because it brings more attention to the energy gel market. And to deal with the copycats, we have a patent on the product's composition. And how that works is if an energy gel were comparable to ours, and we identified this copycat, we would have to take them to court, and if they couldn't distinguish the flavor between the two, well, that would mean that that product doesn't have the performance or the taste that ours does. And if they couldn't distinguish the difference between the two, well, that would be patent infringement, and they could lose their right to sell and have other various fines.
You're talking about stores, targeting stores and having a regional representative or district representative. What stores are we looking at here? Are we looking at health food stores? I mean, what stores are you targeting? We never really got into details there, or maybe I missed it. I did. Okay. I was writing. My bad. So, have you thought about expanding beyond just runners? It seems like I see other energy products tending to go in other type of athletes and so forth. Have you thought about expanding that as well as just marathon runners or long distance runners?
Yes, I'd love to get the roots of your question for you. We have thought about expanding to other areas. However, we decided that the best way to get you your return on your investment is to target the easily identifiable market as runners. There are other athletes that use gels. However, this is the most effective way to get Manic Energy into the hands of runners and have them try it and keep buying it.
Okay, you've got one business representative in the first year. Are they a marathon runner? Because they're going to be busy. That's going to be crazy. Honestly, when you're at marathons and you're handing out samples, I've been in some runs and I'll tell you they're swamped. So I'm thinking you're really going to need more than one person. Perhaps you're going to have to hire some temporary people. Is any of that reflected in the budget?
I would also love to answer your question as well. Yes, that's all been factored into salaries. So all the costs required to get our sales team, or actually that's in the marketing budget, excuse me. All the costs required to get our sales team and whoever's necessary to hand out Manic Energy to runners is factored into our marathon sponsorships tab in the marketing budget.
Okay, so that's part of the sponsorship tab.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Is there a sponsorship cost that to get the name on the run itself?
We're actually not sponsoring the run. We're sponsoring to set up the booth and hand out Manic Energy to runners.
Okay, so that's not really a sponsorship then. It's more of you're there.
Right. I guess technically you could look at it that way. Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
Thank
of course.
You had mentioned that 70 to 80% of your sales are going online, but then you have a fair amount of, you're adding stores, and you're just spending a lot of money on POPs. That seems a bit of a discrepancy. Can you talk a little bit about how you expect to drive sales online, and in that case, do you need all those other local running stores to come on board as well?
I'll answer that question. So the point of having the point of purchase material and actually driving the sales to the stores, even though it may just be 20 to 30%, is to create the opportunity for marathon maniacs to go to these stores, learn about the product, and also assist these stores in getting more people to go into them, because if they see our product in there and they go in, it's another leader for them to purchase other things within the store. And so that we're helping businesses and they're helping us. And then the sales goals and driving the sales online, they're going to, that would be with the free samples, and our marketing expenses actually getting these products in the hands of runners. And each time that we actually put it in their hands, we're going to have the opportunity to demonstrate, or at least tell them that these are online and this is how they can get it.
You talked about transparent communication. Mostly you were talking about food safety, I think. If someone were to take exception to the word manic and think you were trivializing mental health and raise a protest, how would you address that?
That would be handled via our crisis management plan. So that would be designated spokesperson, one of the board of directors, as well as working with a communication specialist that is backgrounded in public relations, and ensuring that we are doing the best that we can to say, no, we are not trying to minimize public health or mental health, and ensuring that this is simply for the crazy effect that they're going to get with the energy boost. But we would be working through a couple public relations specialist and someone who works in PR to effectively communicate that to our retailers and our consumers.
Okay, well, I've got one for you. I'm a little confused here. On your marketing expenses under trade shows, the first year you explained there were some initial costs. And I'm guessing $25,350. There's a lot of additional costs there. But when you take a look at the fees, are $7,850. That's for all of the expos. Running Expo in Florida, then there are 2 in California, 1 in Texas, 1 in Pennsylvania. Yet the first year we're only going to target the Midwest, which includes Texas. So why are we taking a charge or a hit on all of those the first year? Or are we?
Yes, I can take that one. So the point of going to these trade shows is getting that initial push. So ensuring that people know about Manic Energy and that we are present within the market and driving that demand for these runners. So that would just be each year we'd go into the same amount of trade shows, the same amount of times.
All 3 years we
yes,
go to all the trade shows?
Yes, all 3 years we're going to all the trade shows.
So I'm a runner in New York City and I can't get it until year 3. Or California, let's say, and I can't get it till year 3.
You can online.
I can online.
Yes.
So we really are expanding nationwide the first year.
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure. Thank you.
You had commented about 50% retention. That seems low for a product that's supposed to be so great and different. Is that normal? Do people switch back and forth? I would expect that to be a higher retention.
Interesting. It's not usually what we hear. We think that this is a very conservative number, actually. Because our taste is so superior, we expect a lot of runners to like our product and keep buying it. So it is just a goal. Keep that in mind. We don't mind readjusting our goals later on in year 2 or year 3, but like I said, it's just a goal for now.
Okay.
So.
So with a product like this, what you're talking about with trade shows and actual events, you're talking about a lot of samples, giving away a lot of samples. Have you accounted for that sample cost in your marketing plan? And if so, where do we find it at in the numbers?
I would happy to get to the root of that question as well. It is actually factored into the manufacturing portion of the budget and the cost of goods sold. Because in order to produce a sample, we're paying for the ingredients and the cost of manufacturing. So they are already factored in to those costs. So everything is already in the total cost per packet.
Do we have any, you talk about the flavor is different with the syrup flavor and all, and it depletes the glycemic, it enhances glycemic levels when they're depleted from running, but do we have any kind of proof of that or something where it's been some type of study or anything? Have you considered having some type of study done by the health community of some type to kind of show the percentage? Okay.
You lucked out.
You lucked out.